not a star in the sky could steal your light.
Cheers.
You are the diamond in the dark. No oceans out there can wash you away. There is no way that you can't break.
Welcome everybody. We're back with another Fireside chat. We just wanted to sit out here by the fire, having some wine. You can maybe explain.
We decided when we do our fireside chats that we're going to have a different bottle of wine. Hopefully we can remember which bottles of wine we've tried between our fireside chats, since we don't do them that often. But we
Hopefully
decided,
we're not drinking enough to forget.
I wasn't thinking that maybe we were drinking enough to forget, maybe just in time between fireside chats.
Yes.
I wasn't thinking that we would drink that much. However, we decided it would be fun to try a bottle of wine that we haven't tried before while we do our fireside chat. This one is called the Dreaming Tree Crush, and it's was, I think, bottled in 2021 out of California, and it's sustainably grown. It's supposed, let's see, it's supposed to have delicious jammy notes of raspberry and dark cherry and a long soft finish. It says it pairs well with friends and great conversation.
Oh, good thing we're friends.
I know, right? Cheers, let's see if it's good. You like it?
It's good. Has a little very dry finish.
Yes, but it's delightful. Mm-hmm. It has like a freshness to it. I wouldn't say that it's soft.
No.
But I would say that it's fresh, and it does have a nice dry finish, which I like a dry wine. There you go, Mr. Halloween.
Okay, so the purpose, I guess, the reason why we're having filming another fireside chat is we had kind of covered, kind of looking back at 2023, which, 2023 was an amazing year. It felt like a very tough year, between just gardens and building projects and just always kind of being behind, it felt like. So, but the Lord was faithful, and we had, when we looked back at everything, we were really surprised and just humbled and blessed to see just how much we were able to accomplish in the course of the year, even though it felt like we didn't get all that we wanted, but
I think we accomplished more than 1%.
we did. So we wanted to kind of come out here and just talk about how we see 2024 kind of shaping up for us, and at least going through some of the dreams and ideas and the things that we would like to do and accomplish in 2024 that we're pursuing. I think we both want to just kind of approach 2024 with this mentality of going, okay, we're going to pull back a little bit in some areas because we want to shift our focus. We want to put more emphasis on other areas, such as the garden this year. I think that's going to be a big focus. So basically, we're kind of looking at how we can make 2024 better than 2023, but also to be better prepared this year. I think both of us could say that for the first 2 years, we've been we've learned a lot and we've gotten better about things, but we kind of still feel like we're kind of winging it or throwing it together a little bit. And so this year we'd like to be more prepared. We'd like to have things in place ahead of time and be prepared for each season as it comes this year. So that when we get to the end of the year there, and we get to this, the winter time, like we are now, that we actually truly do have some family downtime and farm downtime, where we can kind of just get some rest after after another long year of homesteading. So
One of the things that we struggled in 2023 regarding the garden is Maine had an incredibly wet 2023.
yeah,
It was so wet. And where our garden sits, although it's the best place because it gets the most southern exposure and it's most out open, it gets all day sun for the most part. I mean, maybe in the evening there's some shade for cool down. It's just a great location for a garden. However, it's also the lowest part of our property and all the water runs in that direction. And there is a pond in between our property line and our neighboring property line, and it collects a bunch of water and it overflows, and in our garden area floods. Well, last year we weren't even able to get into the majority of our garden space to expand our gardens much because we couldn't even mow it. we couldn't rototill it, we couldn't mow it, and our soil is very, very clay. And it's not nice soil, and it's very rocky, and it's super unfriendly. So this year we decided, in 2023 we decided that we were going to invest more in the garden. I would say that when we first started homesteading, we were like, hurry up. Not Edward. I was, hurry up, buy all the animals.
Whoa.
And Edward's like, whoa, Nelly, we are not going to be building shelters after we get animals. Well, that's exactly what happened. And I think every homesteader does that. I don't think that we're unusual. I think that
No.
you're probably wiser in some areas.
perhaps.
Maybe. We'll think about it. But I am like, why wait when the blessing is here now? So we even each other out.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I think we even each other out. However, one of the things that we notice is having a garden is absolutely essential to your animals, to your family, and putting up food and being able to have a good harvest. It's unbelievable the amount of food that a family can consume and how much preserving that it takes. Not to mention when you have like pigs or chickens and stuff like that, you need to be able, well, it's wise to be able to grow certain things and certain pumpkins and squashes and gourds and stuff that you can put down in a root cellar and give to your animals throughout the winter. It helps to deworm them, and it helps pack on the carbohydrates so that they stay warm through the winter. So we decided that we are going to be building raised beds all for our garden space. The ground is so bad and it would be so costly to amend all of that soil, and we just really want to move forward. We don't want to spend a tremendous amount of money just getting the soil brought in to raise up the ground. Now we are going to be digging some trenches this year to help the water flow so that we can have garden space that doesn't wash away the nutrients. So that's something that's going to be on our 2024 to-do list is the trenches. We have a water problem.
Yeah, we would like to definitely improve the drainage around the property. At least we would like to have the control and the say over where that water goes and how it's routed through the property. So yeah, I think in 2024 we definitely want to address the drainage issue in the garden area. Because if we can get that water to be moved away and get over there and get access to it earlier, that is only going to help us with our garden and being able to get out there and prepare garden beds and to prepare spaces. So, and like Lori was saying, it would be a lot, in our opinion, it would be a lot of wasted effort and unnecessary work to try and dig up and bring in a bunch of soil and amend everything over there, just because it is a lot of clay and it's a lot of rocks. Because in previous pictures of our property, there used to be a lot of rocks that were put over there to make little decorative landscaping features, and so trying to auger out or trying to rototill over there, it would be a lot of hard work and a lot of work that we don't really need to do, because we can just put together raised beds and bring in already prepared soil.
So one of the things is both Edward and I do work. Yes, we work from home, and so we have a home office. So during the day, Monday through Friday, during office hours, we're actually in our office working, and then after work we come and create content, and on the weekends. And the weekends were pretty intense, especially during the spring, summer, and harvest seasons. We are working pretty hard. And so we need to, so that we don't experience burnout, and so that we don't bury our joy in overdoing it, we need to approach our dream with not a sense of we have to accomplish everything this year. We need to approach it like we're in it for the long haul, and so we need to pace ourselves a little bit.
Yes.
But the other area that we struggled in the garden is we just don't have a lot of honeybees, and so we really struggled with good pollinators. Very rarely did I see a honeybee or butterflies or good pollinating healthy bugs, but I had a plethora of terrible bugs that
There's a lot.
devoured my garden. So not only did I struggle with water, which is terrible and invites disease if you have too much water, but and it took a lot of my harvest space away, so I couldn't expand my garden too much. But then on top of that, we had a tremendous amount of bad bugs come in, and I was constantly fighting the bugs. If you all wanted to see me cry on YouTube, I did cry over my potatoes. These bugs came in and ate my potato leaves. They looked like lace by the time they were done. I learned some things, like not to plant potatoes in the same spot back to back, especially if you have a pest problem. So there's some learning curves in it for us for sure, and we probably have at least the rest of our lives while homesteading to learn all of these things.
Yeah.
So we want to get some drainage put in. We want to do the gardens with raised beds. We want to put our garden in. Now, eventually I want to expand my garden space, and that area where the garden is won't allow us to expand it too much more than what we have. But we'll be able to put in maybe some in-ground gardens in some areas after we have more animals on the farm and we can start creating our own compost. So with that, we're going to do raised beds, put in some trenching, and we're going to be getting some honeybees. So if anybody knows anybody in Maine that has honeybees, or is willing to sit down and chit chat with me and talk about the best placement on our property for honeybees, where to get them, what I need to start out with, and how to do it properly. I'm not expecting to get a plethora of honey the first year, but I would like it to be successful and make it through a winter, and then the next year be able to harvest honey. My most important thing is I really need them to pollinate. I need them for my fruit trees and my garden. So, and then we want to put in a garden fence because it's beautiful. I know there's a lot of deer here, but the fence we're putting in is not going to keep the deer out.
No.
I want a pretty fence for my garden.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of towards the end of 2023. We kind of just adopted this mantra or mindset that beauty is essential.
It is.
And so some of our 2024 goals are going to be about bringing more beauty to the homestead and hopefully making it look a little bit better and a little bit well put together and thought out.
Correct. The other thing is right now we believe that our piglet Chloe, or pig, she's not a piglet.
No.
She is a pig. She's a sow. We believe that she is pregnant. We don't really know if she is. We don't know how to tell if she is. Her belly looks bigger, but it could be because she's getting more food than what she was because we are down one pig. But we believe she's pregnant. So as you see, we have been working on a pig farrowing stall, which we have to wrap up sooner than later because if she's going to give birth, we believe it's going to be sooner than later. But we are fighting weather, so it is slow going. And in addition to that, we are new at construction. So our skill level is increasing substantially.
It is.
But as you can tell, we do have a little bit of a struggle in that area and we're a little bit slower. However, we do want to have piglets. If she isn't pregnant this time, we will breed her out to our boar, and hopefully it takes and we get piglets. Now we don't know if we're gonna stay. These are big blacks, and we don't know if we're gonna stay with that breed of pig. We're thinking maybe a smaller pig, just because we're just us doing it, you know. And those, I mean, Minty was huge, like, and it was very overwhelming for us, and especially just us trying to figure out how to homestead. It's more important that we take small bites and be successful than take big bites and have failures that discourage us.
Yeah, I think, again, looking ahead to 2024, I think that's kind of probably one of the bigger takeaways from last year, was just this idea of going, okay, everything doesn't have to happen within 1 year, but if we do it right and we plan things out and we're intentional and we go about it in a way that is sustainable, you know, I think we can, again, doing that 1% every day, we can get to where we want to be. We just have to learn how to kind of spread it out.
Yeah. So we're hoping to have piglets. We want to give a couple pigs away in food to our church family, and then of course have some pork in the freezer, and then bless other people with pork for their home, and stuff, and then we also want to sell some of the piglets, because we're hoping that selling the piglets so other people can raise their own meat, one, will encourage the homesteading lifestyle, and because we believe that this lifestyle is essential and is probably one of the best ways that you can raise a family in and live in, even if you don't have children. It is very rich in blessing, hard work, but rich in blessings. Anyway, so we do want to sell it so that we can turn around and use that money to start helping support the feed costs on the farm. So the other thing that we're looking to do that I did not put on my list, but I'm hoping that we can stay on track, is that we are going to be working on planting pasture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yep.
so our cats are being weird. So we're looking on planting pasture, and we're gonna have to take it in bites. We don't have a tractor. We don't have a utility vehicle.
Yeah.
We just have a farm truck and our personal vehicle. So we gotta somehow drag our pasture, pull the big sticks out of it, maybe have a little burn party or something like that, and then cast our seed so that we can start planting pasture. And then the other thing is chickens. The first year we did chickens, we did 100 birds.
Yeah.
And then last year we did 90 birds, and we were able to give plenty of birds away.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well.
This year we're going to do about 50. And the reason why is we're scaling back, like Edward was saying at the beginning, that we're pulling back. And if you think about when you're wanting to hit a target and you're using a bow and arrow, you have to pull the arrow back in order to launch forward to hit the target. And so we're not pulling all the way back and stopping homesteading. Absolutely not. We're going to be continuing, but we're going to invest in the things that will make us more successful. And so we're going to be doing around 50 birds. Some of that is going to be for us. Some of that will be for giving away. And then we're also going to do our 10 turkeys again this year, and have a turkey for ourselves, and then give turkeys away, because, well, if we can do whatever we want, right? So as far as animals, we'll probably have piglets. Our lambs we're hopefully going to harvest sooner than later.
Yeah.
But because of the weather and the winter and how far behind we've gotten, and just a lack of understanding about how much work this was, that we took a bite out in 2023, everything is just, everything is just, sorry, my El Hoquito cat's being naughty. Everything is just more difficult when you're learning how to do it. So we will be harvesting our lambs. I don't know when we're going to be doing it, but hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to have to keep buying wood. Or, hey. El Hoquito, stop being naughty. You're being the darkness. Alright. So we do have building projects, a lot of building projects for 2024 because that was part of our problem.
Yeah, this year it seemed like I had a ton of building projects to get to tackle, and it just seemed like time and everything just didn't quite work out with the with the projects. It just seemed like they kind of stacked up and we got behind, and again, as we're learning to as I'm learning different construction methods and learning how to build stuff more kind of on the fly versus purchasing a kit or doing something along those lines. It's it just got to be a lot for this year. So for this year, a lot of we have our building projects this year, and hopefully because we've gotten a little bit faster, we'll be able to get a lot of this done. And again, planning ahead and being proactive should help with that. Hopefully, maybe. But so one of the things that some of the projects we have for as far as like building projects, this year we've got to build a woodshed so that our wood can be protected and out of the weather. So we'll be working on that in 2024. We also want to build more permanent animal shelters and different structures. As you've probably seen in our videos, we have some kind of temporary shelters that have worked and served its purpose. But we'd like to get something more permanent for the animals and something that, again, is a little bit more beautiful to look at versus, some sort of structure with maybe a tarp around it or, several different types of roofing materials because we're using what we have instead of, going out and buying some more. But, no, we'd like to do that. I know you guys watched us do the tool shed this year and the extension, kind of the wing off of one side. This next year here in 2024, we'd like to actually add another extension, the identical extension on the other side of it, so that we have a place where we can be able to put more stuff and have more storage space available, possibly maybe for like feed bags and feed deliveries when we get them. So
or a place for you to work that's not on the front porch.
Yes, it would be a covered workspace as well, just to get out of the weather when we're doing projects and it's not so nice. But that is another one. We also would like to try and maybe, if we can this year, we're trying to build some animal shelters so that we have winter, and these would be kind of more as like overwinter shelters that are big enough so that if we need to bring some pigs in for the winter and the dogs have a place to get out of the weather, we have that space available to us. Even though they do have shelters, we'd like to have something that would be a little bit more permanent, where they can actually be inside, kind of like a barn type space, where they can be out of the elements and out of the weather, should they choose to be.
So we've noticed that in late fall, or mid to late fall in Maine, there's a lot of wet nor'easter type storms that rip through. And man, the darkness is being so naughty. So anyway, so the storms really rip through, and we've seen it. We've only lived in Maine for a few years.
Yeah.
It hasn't been long enough to really understand all of the weather patterns. But I've noticed consecutively since 2020, we moved here in 2020, and mid to late fall up and through December, there are some real big storms that push through with some pretty heavy winds. Now, last year we didn't suffer any losses, but we also didn't have any animals other than chickens during that time of the year. All of our meat birds were harvested. We just had egg layers, and they had a closed-in shelter with a run, so it wasn't that big of a deal, and our property was all wooded. Sorry about that. So our property was all wooded. Now it's been harvested so that we can plant pasture and stuff, and we've increased our animals. We have pigs, we have sheep, we have livestock guardian dogs, and we have our egg layers. And this year with the storm, we lost a whole bunch of fencing that we had to go and repair when weather was really bad, when we were up against the wire already with building projects.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think Maine needs, as far as homesteaders go, is a place for your animals to come and overwinter in a barn type atmosphere for multiple reasons. Storms, fencing repairs. This has been an incredibly light snow year so far. Normally at this time last year we had several feet of snow on the ground. I don't even think we've had a foot of snow yet. Maybe collectively, but that's
but it's
it.
been spread out.
It's been spread out, and not much at all. So we've been really blessed in that way, but that won't always be the case.
Right.
So I think that homesteaders in Maine need to have some sort of barn, and we don't have a barn, and we don't even have the money to buy a barn or pay for a barn to be built. So we need
build
to
it ourselves.
or even build the whole thing ourselves, but we can do it in small bites.
Yeah. And
Right.
God is good, so.
And he is good, and he is so faithful, and I don't know how he's going to do it, but
He will.
if we make ourselves available and we move in that direction, he will work out all of the kinks that we cannot.
Yeah.
So we thought we would take it in bites. We would build certain things, certain ways for future add-ons. Hopefully it doesn't look like a bunch of add-ons, but it could. Stuff happens. So, I think he's gonna go in his house. I hope he does. El Hoquito might go in his cat house. Anyway, so we're looking at building some sort of overwintering shelter just because we have to have a place to get our animals out of weather that has potential danger.
Yeah, and it's gonna, by having an overwintering shelter, it's gonna save us a lot of time and effort of having to do fence maintenance, running, electrical fencing, and then with all the snow and stuff, having to disconnect and reconfigure fencing just because the snow gets higher or deeper and it's shorting out a line on the fencing. So the idea is to basically to get an overwintering shelter for them so all the animals can go in there, minimal fencing required, and they'll have a place where they're safe, they're out of the elements, and we don't have to worry about our animals kind of being exposed to any kind of danger, especially like you saw with the pigs, falling trees. So the idea is basically to not only make it a better place for the animals, but make it a lot easier for us as well in the amount of effort and maintenance that's required throughout the winter season.
Yeah. So, and then finally, one of the things that we have one spigot for water, and it's underneath the porch that we're sitting on up towards the front of the house, and you have to climb under the porch, hook up a hose, and that hose has to feed the garden water in the summer, the chickens, the pigs, and whatever animals we have. And because our property is 10 1/4 acres, there's no way that we can get in the future when we have more animals that are further back on the pasture actually get water. We will be carrying buckets, and some of the animals that we want to get are big water drinkers, and so we need to fix our water situation. So on our property goes a little bit uphill, not like that, but just a little bit uphill towards the back of it. And so what we're thinking about doing is putting in some water collection systems so that we can gravity feed water down to the animals during the spring, summer, and fall and partial winter months, as long as it's not frozen.
Right.
And this water collection system will just be a roofed structure with metal roof that catches the water in gutters, that feeds it into a collection thing, that gravity feeds it through a hose to be able to feed the animals. And I think it will take the pressure off of our well. It'll prevent hoses from having to be wound up once a week because we have to mow. Because if we don't mow, then we have ticks and mosquito issues. So there's a lot that goes into the reasons why we need something like that. And so that's another thing that we're looking at building. These are not in order as we've talked about them, in most important to least important. They're just things that we have to really pay attention to. So that being said, we have a very full 2024 ahead of us.
I know. I'm looking at it going, are we really pulling back?
This is a pulling back because we're not getting cows. We're not getting more animals. We're getting our chickens and our turkeys. We have our pigs. Hopefully they have babies. And in addition to that, we also have to build, and probably one of our most important things is a walk-in cooler.
Yeah.
Which we want to make a mobile one, so like a little trailer, so that we can hang pork and so we don't have to harvest during the cold season.
Right.
And hang our meat out. Because we learned when we were processing Minty, we wanted to hang him out for a period of time, but then we had a big storm roll in. And so we only were allowed to hang him for like 24 hours because it just got too warm. And we would have spoiled our meat. And then it rained, like 8 inches of rain that next day. So we processed and then had a big storm. So that being said, you don't want your meat rained on. It needs to stay below a certain temperature outside, and it needs to be in a place where it has air movement around it, and the safest place to do that, so that we don't have to wait towards the winter months to harvest our big meat, is to have a refrigeration unit of the size to hang chunks of meat in to rest.
Yeah. So, I guess looking at everything that we're setting out to do in 2024, it still feels like it's a lot. But I think the one thing that we're gonna, focus on it is being proactive and preparing ahead of time, but also continuing to move within God's blessing.
That's right. So
He has been very faithful to us in that, and He has provided so many blessings for 2023. Things that we weren't even necessarily on our radar for 2023, and He, provided a way. Just the sheer amount of animals that we took on in 2023 from 2022, just having egg-laying chickens and some meat chickens. It was definitely a higher escalation of animals and stuff, but again, we felt all of it was just God blessing us with that and that. And yes, we weren't necessarily prepared for all of it, but this year, again, looking at everything we're going to do, just making sure that we continue to lean on God for wisdom and knowing where His operating within that blessing. But also, I think, giving ourselves grace and not having to feel like Rome has to be built in a year. We have, like Gloria said, we have the rest of our lifetime to learn and grow and figure this stuff out and make it what we want it to be. It doesn't have to be in a year. We have a lot of ideas and we have a lot of things that we would love to take on, and you just have to spread it out over the years, and eventually we'll get there.
yeah, one of the things that my hope is in 2024 that we actually prepare to be able to get a cow in 2025.
Yes.
if it were up to me, I would get a cow like yesterday. And I don't even have a place to keep its feed. I don't have a place to keep it warm in the winter, although I don't know that it would need that, but maybe it would. I don't know. It depends on the cow I get, I guess, the type of cow. But anyway, our hope is that we can move into producing beef and milk and cheese and different things like that, so that we can not only feed ourselves healthy, but also bless others with high quality things that fill their family and with healthy food and stuff, and maybe help lift some burdens of financial burdens, because everybody knows right now going to the grocery store is very expensive.
That's why the garden is important.
The garden is essential, especially if you eat vegetables. So I still have a lot of canning to learn to do. One of the things that was so amazing is, even though we had such a terrible garden year in 2023, I put up more food than I ever have. No, it's not saying much because I really put up hardly anything the year before. And I don't know why I'm so nervous about different canning things and processing different things, but I am. I'm quite nervous, and I don't know why. But I'm pushing myself to expand that quite a bit, and I'm getting more and more confident the more that I do it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's no different than me learning building stuff, and every time I have a new building to build, the nervousness and kind of like, oh, this is something new. I've got to learn how to do this and do it right, so that it meets what we need it to meet. There's always going to be that fear, and we push through it, and that's part of moving forward. I think homesteading provides that. Every day there's a new learning opportunity.
Yes, most of them are thrust on you.
Yeah, sometimes, but again, if we're proactive, we can kind of control which ones are thrust at us.
Yes.
Perhaps.
Anyway, we in the whole wild ride of 2023, we started our YouTube channel.
We did.
And we don't make anything from it yet, and hopefully someday we will have enough followers to start helping support, so that one of us can stop working and then eventually make more money so that it supports the farm, so that we both can do this full time, because that's when things will really be exciting. We won't be up against the wire with a small amount of time to do an extraordinary amount of things. So we're hoping that in 2024 that our YouTube channel maybe starts to break a little bit of a revenue. Not that it's going to make that much of a difference.
Right.
I hear from people that it takes like 5 years plus, which makes sense, because that's typically what you would do if you were starting a business. To be able to see revenue streams come in from starting a business typically takes around 5 years to get established. But in the meantime, we can start setting ourselves up for success and stuff. And then as we get closer and closer to that point, we can start sharing more details of our dreams with you for our property, our goals for raising our own food, and what we would like to do to the community and for the community.
Yeah.
Anyway, we just thank you so much for watching our YouTube channel,
Yes.
for subscribing, for commenting, for liking and sharing our videos. But especially, it's been really nice to communicate with different people from all over the United States and in different parts of the world. And I'm meeting some really, really nice people. We haven't had anybody be cruel or mean, which is really nice, and I'm hoping that never happens, because I think it would hurt my feelings. But we're learning things, like we're building and we're not that great, but we've had people comment and say, hey, I would put like a bigger board in this area to help with snow load. And so we went out and got the board. We haven't put it in yet, but it's really great, because now we can go get that put in when we have a minute to breathe, and somebody from somewhere else has then spoken into us and helped us, and it's great. It feels like a community, and it's very encouraging and very uplifting. I totally enjoy it.
Yeah, I think, I think I speak for both of us. Just saying that how lucky we are to have you guys following along, and how much we treasure that. How much helpful comment or advice, like Lori was saying, but also, this is something very special for us. This is our dream, and we are fortunate enough to get to share that with all of you guys, and we're just so grateful for the community of people that have decided to follow along with us on this journey. We hope to expand the number of people that we're reaching in 2024. That's going to be the goal. But for those of you that have been kind of the pioneers of kind of at the forefront of following us this year and willing to kind of step out and support us and encourage us and cheer us on and follow along with us, we couldn't have been more blessed in 2023 by all of you guys, and we look forward to continuing to share this journey with you guys in 2024, and hopefully again we expand the number of people that we're able to reach, or that are able to follow along with us. You guys mean the world to us. Absolutely.
Certainly do. So thank you so much. God bless. Thank you for watching, and cheers to 2024.
2024.
And our great community. Have a great weekend.
There you go.
Not a star in the sky could steal your light. You are the diamond in the dark.